How you guys doing? This is your girl Dagnet, the African blogger and Veretra. Now let's talk septic tank. Because I was in the process of building my septic tank and I asked a friend of mine, a really good brother. You will see him in the video. He's developing a wonderful city. I don't have any affiliation with his company, but he gave me some advice. Hold up. He gave me an advice. Whenever I need any advice, I always ask him, text him, or call him, text him or call him, because I know he's building a city somewhere around Marshall area or something. It's called X City. I'm going to put all the information, website, phone number, and you can call him directly. I don't have any affiliation, so don't call me and ask me any question about his company. Call him directly. You will see his information in the video. But now, before I digress too further, and I asked him some questions about septic tank. And apparently the way how you guys design septic tank is how you have been designing septic tank in Liberia, that I know for. Maybe this is true across the board in Africa, but I know for sure in Liberia. The way we were designing septic tank when I left 37 years ago, I came back, it's just the same way. Maybe a handful of people are doing something different because they have traveled abroad. Okay, hold on. I'm still in the city, so I'm trying to do my video. There's noise here, there, so I have to close the window, close the door. Yeah. When I get to my house on the beach, we won't have that problem because I won't have no neighbors. Now let's get back to it. So apparently they are still designing septic tank the way they used to 37 years ago, with just a handful of people who have traveled and have done some proper research and are designing septic tank differently. When they dig the septic tank 10 feet, because my septic tank will be 10 feet deep, 8 feet wide, and 8 feet long. So 10 by 8 by 8, right? So when they dig the septic tank 10 feet wide at 10 feet deep. Why is this door? So when they dig the septic tank 10 feet deep, and what they usually do, the old way, and I'll tell you the new way, the old way is they will just cast just the top, the bottom, they will leave it open. The bottom of the septic tank, they won't put any cement on the floor, they will leave it just the sand and the dirt, whatever. When you dig the hole, the sand or the dirt to the bottom, they leave that there. They just cast around the walls. I had a phone call coming in. Next time I have to figure out how to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So they will cast just the walls of the septic tank to the up, all the way, somewhere in the middle or so, straight to the up. They'll cast. They'll put cement, plaster, and they call it casting. So they'll put it all the way. Then the bottom of the septic tank, they will leave it open. The dirt or sand, wherever it is, to leave that open. And then they'll cast or plaster it over on top with cement. So they will cast the walls of the septic tank, the bottom, the floor of the septic tank will leave it with just the dirt or the sand, whatever it is. And then you connect your septic tank with all your stuff in your house. So the idea is all that feces, we're not going to go into details. So the idea is all that stuff will settle in the bottom and it sits there. It's like stewing. All the poop, I don't know if they separate the solid from the liquid. I think they separate the solid from the liquid. So the solid is sitting somewhere. They will dig the septic tank in half. One side have the solid, I think, and one side have the liquid. But the bottom of the septic tank for both sides is just sitting there. And I think it's just sitting there for years and just stewing. Only God knows what's going on. And I begin to think, because I watched his video, I'm going to add his video to this, and I want you to listen to his video. I'm just adding my 2 cents. I'm not speaking as an expert, but I'm just using something called common sense and critical thinking to ask some questions. That's it. I don't claim to be an expert at all. So I'm thinking that stuff is sitting there in the bottom for how many years and centuries. After a while, wouldn't it seep into the ground, into the drinking water, into the food, into the soil to grow the food with all kind of disease and breakout? And no wonder why you guys are always sick in this country. You turn around, they either got malaria or typhoid. If everyone or 50% or 80% of the country are designing septic tank like that, who knows what's going on the ground? Let's be honest, let's think. Has anybody done any research to find out the ecosystem underground that is being completely thrown off balance to have that much poop sitting there underground in the sand or in the dirt for years and years, and it's not just one person, 50% or 70% of the whole country. After a while, and then we can have rainy season for 6 months, sometimes it rain for 6 months. Some days when the rainy season come in July, August, sometimes it rains like 7 days straight, non-stop. And when it rains here in Liberia, or should I say much of Africa, you would think it will never rain tomorrow. I mean, that's how it rains, like the heavens coming down. You can put a 10-gallon bucket or barrel outside. In less than 5 minutes, it's filled up. You can put 10 of those. You can put 10 gallons bucket, 10 of them outside. That's 100 gallon, right? Within 5 to 10 minutes, they are all filled to capacity when it decides to rain. You would think it will never rain tomorrow. It will rain like this is it. What happened? Yeah, LEC went. It'll be back in a few seconds. So the way it rains so heavy during the rainy season, and then we have a pile of stuff sitting underground for how many years? After a while, don't you think it will be some kind of cross-contamination? And then we dig well, we dig borehole, we have our garden, we have our food. You don't think there'll be some kind of cross-contamination or something crossing somewhere if it's happening? He told me the best way to do my septic tank is to cast the whole septic tank, the floor and everything, cast it. Don't leave the ground open like that. It's not sanitary. It's not wise. It's not healthy for the underground natural organism and for our food and water system. It's not healthy the way we have been doing septic tank all these years. And people just do it because somebody else been doing it. That's why I noticed here in this country, they will just do things because that's the way they have been doing it for 4 or 5 generations. Nobody stop and ask questions, but why? Why have we been doing this for 4 or 5 generations? And is there a better way? I will give you an example. The road from my house. We brought a yellow truck and we cleared the road to make it wide so car can drive straight from the dusty road to go to my property. I don't have to walk to my property anymore. We can just drive there. But 80% of the road is good. There's a little section area where there's some water there, and if you can't drive there right now. So I'm asking, so how are we going to fix this problem? The solution somebody gave me was, oh, you can't fix the problem. I gotta wait until dry season. Dry season is 6 months from now. So you're telling me I pay all that money to hire the tractor trailer to come bulldoze and clear my road that I can't use for 6 months? Does that make any sense? I said, no, there has to be a better way. Number one, we're driving around the city in Monrovia and we see trucks, people are developing and fixing road and they're making new roads. Even though we're in the rainy season, yes, we're in the beginning of the rainy season. It hasn't gotten heavy yet. Maybe July, August, when it gets really heavy. But we're driving around and the people are still making roads. So the rainy season doesn't stop them from fixing the city road. But if you stop them from fixing my road, I should wait for 6 months. I said that logic makes no sense whatsoever. There's a way, there's a solution, we're going to find a way. Of course, we're finding a way now. But what if I have been like everybody else and just accept, oh yes, that rainy season, so we can't fix it, we're going to wait till dry season, 6 months from now. It's like we just talk, we don't do research, we don't ask questions, we just talk and we just do things and we just follow like a bunch of sheep. Just follow along, don't ask any questions, just follow along because that's the way it has been done. So that means that's the way it has to always be done forever now. It has been done like that in the past. So we should continue that. No, it's time to ask some questions. We have to ask some questions because there might be a better way. And maybe the people who've been doing it like that in the past, maybe they don't know any better and they just copy from somebody else and they just continue to copy. Now they have other something else that they call biodigester or biodigestible. It's another form of septic tank. Everybody and the mother just raving and ranting about it because it's new. Not because something is new and modern means it's good for you or good for the environment or good for the natural organism that's on the ground. Not because it's new and modern and trendy means it's good at all. That biodigester, I don't like it. First of all, you start telling me you got to put chemical in the septic tank. And every 6 months you got to treat it. And if you're cleaning your septic tank, your toilet and stuff, or your kitchen, you're washing dishes. Because when I use, in my kitchen, for example, I use fresh fish. I like to use bleach to get that fresh fish scent and smell. If I clean my bathroom and toilet, I put small, I mix it with bleach and water and soap to clean my toilet, clean my sink, clean my tub to make it smell clean. Anytime I can't put bleach, if I put bleach there, the bleach will damage or destroy the chemicals that you put in the septic tank when you're making your biodigester. When I start hearing chemicals, I say no thank you. Because this is new and we haven't yet done proper research what that particular chemical in the septic tank, in the ground, what it will do to the earth. what it will do to us as human beings, what it will do if it enter the water system, in the food system, what it will do if it enter underground in the natural organism that is underground. We don't know what it will do to it because it's new. So we're quick to jump on something that is new, is on the new bandwagon. We jump on it and want to promote. Before you do anything, do your own, especially those of you from the Western nation. Learn to do research. Don't always jump on things because it's popular and it's trending and it's new and it's modern and it's convenient and it's hip and it's civilized, whatever. Do some proper research and begin to find out how would this thing affect the environment where I'm living in, the environment on the ground, the environment 10, 20 years from now where I'm going, I have enjoyed it, and another 3, 4 generations come after me. How is this going to affect them? That's my issue. I will let you listen to my brother's info, my brother's listen to his professional opinion and him teaching you how to make septic tank. I would advise everybody going to watch this video, please listen to it, watch it, and share with everybody who's building houses in Liberia, if possible, across the continent. Share this with everybody who's building a house. We need to sit down and watch this and think another way. Don't have one narrow mind or one way of thinking and think because it has been done like this for centuries. That makes it right, that makes it correct, that makes it okay, that makes it because something is trendy or because something is new and modern and convenient, that means it's good. It may not be so. Let's do research and let's look at things from 4 or 5 different angles before we decide and jump on anything. So please watch this video, leave your comment, your suggestion, your thumbs up, your thumbs down, no problem. But let's discuss professionally and mature, with a mature and civilized mind. And let's share ideas. Let me know if you disagree with my brother in the video, no problem. Thank you.
Select the right type of paint for your building project in Liberia, especially considering Liberia is a very humid and wet country. So the way you paint homes in residential buildings or in general any type of buildings in other climates are not necessarily the right way you select or the right type of paints you select for your homes in a country such as Liberia, which is one of the top 12 most humid countries and one of the wettest countries in the world. So this was an educational thing. It was a little bit veering off of the theme of the channel, but based upon popular requests about materials like these, which are educational, I decided to actually make another one. And this time around, we are going to be talking about how do you design your septic tank. So we know in Liberia, a lot of times, in most cases, when you build, whether it's commercial buildings or residential homes, you have to build your own septic tank that stores your sewage from your home. So I realized that a lot of times this is designed the wrong way. I didn't do a survey, so let me just step back a little bit. I didn't do a survey, but I asked several people who were doing construction work in Liberia, and I actually stumbled upon this ongoing errors in the construction industry in Liberia because I had a septic tank to build for my mini office building that I'm constructing in Johnsonville. Today I wanted us to dive into how do you design a septic tank. This is for people who are having an off-grid sewage pipeline system. And this is true for most places in Liberia. And I learned from my experience in Liberia that some engineers wrongly design and build septic tanks, and this actually has a severe impact on our water system, the groundwater system. So it has impact on our environment because the design actually leads to a lot of pollution. So I wanted to make this quick video and just talk a little bit about that. The one thing you want to do when you design a septic tank is that you don't want to build a single compartment vault. You want to build a multi-compartment vault. And also the next thing is that you also want to make sure that the flow of your septic tank is actually cemented with concrete, right? You don't want to leave it exposed to the earth and just allow your sewage matter to seep into the ground. And that is the primary reason why I'm in fact making this talk, because I did realize that this is how some engineers in Liberia or some builders, I don't want to say engineers in general, because some of these people are actually just builders who learn through apprenticeship, and they are not necessarily classified as engineers. And sometimes there's a little bit of a questionable credentialing system that gives them the right to call themselves engineers, but they do call themselves engineers sometimes. However, the point of this discussion is that do not leave the floor of your septic tank exposed to the earth, as most people do in Liberia. So what do you do? So you want to make sure you pour a concrete floor, and then you want to make sure that your septic tank has at least 2 compartments. The one I built for my mini office space in Johnsonville actually has 3 compartments. But let's talk about why you need compartments and why you need concrete floor. You need a concrete floor to prevent groundwater pollution by letting sewage sit directly into the earth without any concrete bottom that protects the feces and other waste from just contacting the earth and groundwater directly. It leads to pollution. It leads to the contamination of groundwater. So you want to prevent that. You never want to do that and leave it exposed. Even if you don't have well in the vicinity of your septic tank, it is a bad practice, and we need to stop doing that. It has a long-term ramification on our environment. So stop doing that in Liberia. And if you are about to build a septic tank, please advise your builders to not leave the bottom of the septic tank exposed to the earth. And so why do people tend to do that? I think the reason is because septic tank do receive a lot of fluid, a lot of water, right? In addition to solid waste. And when the fluid builds up into the septic tank and doesn't seep through the ground, it basically fills up quickly. And because people want to prevent that, the easiest solution is for them to just let the thing just, drain into the earth. But that is the bad thing. It may be the easy solution, but it is a lazy solution and it is a harmful solution. So let's stop doing that. Now, after you put the concrete, now you are faced with the challenge of now you have a septic tank that will easily fill. And that is why we need a second compartment, or at least one more compartment. So when you build your septic tank, build it large enough, and the exact dimensions will depend on the usage, the load, and things like that. The load being like how many toilets, how many humans are using it, what is the use case here. So you have to decide. I talk to someone who can advise you on that, or talk to us, we will advise you on that. But make sure to have 2 compartments, and the first compartment basically is what is going to host all of the first things that leave your building, right? All of that mixture of liquid and solid waste is going to go into the first compartment. So it should be large enough. That should be almost the typical size of what you call your septic tank normally. The 1 vault or 1 whole septic tank you've been building, that first compartment should be about the same size for your septic tank. And then you need to dig a second compartment, and it's a little bit costly, and this is where people start cutting corners. But do not cut corners, because you are contaminating the groundwater if you just do a single vault and then leave the floor of your septic tank exposed like that to the earth. So you want a second compartment. And the second compartment, now you're going to create a wall between the 2 compartments, but you're going to bore a hole in that wall, at least 1 hole. Actually, you should do 2 holes, as I did in my case. One of the holes should be about 4 feet from the surface of the ground towards the bottom of your septic tank, and the other one should be about 2 feet below that. Why do you need those 2 holes? The reason is as follows. When your sewage matter leaves your building and goes into the septic tank, the first vault, it has a mixture of waste matter. One is the solid matter, which sinks to the bottom because it has the highest density of all the 3 categories of things that are coming into the septic tank. So the solid waste has the highest density, so it sinks to the bottom. The second one is the effluent matter. By the way, the solid waste that sinks to the bottom is called a sludge. Now, the liquid matter that is in the middle layer is called the effluent. So that is where most of the water that is in that mixture that comes out of the building basically resides. It's in the middle layer, right? It's the water. It has lower density than solid matter, so it's floating above. So it's sitting above the solid waste. And that is the effluent. The top layer of things, usually those ones contains like those oil and grease and things like that are floating over water, right? Because they have lower density, so they'll be floating over water, right? And any things of such matter that are floating, they are usually like those type of oily substances. And that is called the scum layer of the waste matter that is sitting in that first vault. Now, those two holes that I just talked about, basically creating between the first vault and the second vault, or the first compartment and the second compartment, those things are placed at those depths. Remember, I said 4 feet from the top surface, and then another 1 or 2 feet below the first hole. Those are the places where you make these holes. Those ones are usually there to capture your effluent matter and basically transmit them to the second vault. So those things usually do that. Now, why do you want 2 holes? The reason is as follows. When a solid waste starts climbing up, and then it can reach the top and then hit the first hole that you dug, right? So that one will be like about 6 feet from the top surface of the ground. So it can close that one down, and then you will have only one pipe that is working that to carry the effluent matter into the second vault. That is why you need 2 holes, right? So by the time the second hole gets clogged, then your vault actually is time to remove some of that solid matter, right? That's when you bring your waste trucks, and then they suck out the solid waste from your vault. But at least you need those 2 holes so that when one is shut down, the second one is still functioning to remove the effluent matter until the solid waste shuts that down. And that's when you don't want that to happen. Actually, you want to suck it out, but in the eventuality of that happening, you have a backup system. That's why you need those 2. So what happens when the effluent matter goes into the second compartment? Well, again, that effluent matter, although it has been taking the liquid from that middle layer, right, and carrying it out, but that liquid also contains some solid matter. And as we say, in instances where the solid matter rises till it reaches the height of the lower conduit between the 2 vaults, it starts basically carrying slowly carrying some solid waste into there. But even when it is functioning normally, liquid that is going into the second vault may have some solid matter, right, that is floating around in the liquid, right, in that liquid mixture, right? So some of that is gained over time. Once they are sitting in that second vault, after some time they tend to sink to the surface, to the bottom of that second vault. And again, so you have small amount of sludge in the second vault, but usually it's like less than a quarter or around a quarter of what you have in the first vault. But then that effluent matter now that is in the second vault, remember, it has been distilled by allowing the pipe to carry it from the first vault to the second vault. A lot of the one, by the time it reaches to the level of any of those pipes to be transmitted, it has already basically allowed most of the solid matter to sink. So that effluent matter that is going from first vault to the second vault is actually much more cleaner than the one that came directly from your building, because it has already allowed the solid waste, most of the solid waste, to settle. So that effluent matter that is in your second vault is what basically you want to use for manure. And that is the one you actually want to allow to basically seep into the top surface layer of your soil, and that provides a lot of manure for things that you may want to grow. That is where you want to grow your vegetables, and they will be the freshest vegetables you can have. And that is where sometimes you want to grow your grass. Now, for people in the West, like in the United States, if you see like cluster of homes where the engineering or the construction company actually design a waste collection system that basically accumulates waste from different buildings into one centralized septic tank before the waste can again go further down into the discharge pipes to take it away from the community. That centralized septic tank for that community has what we call a leash field. So in this case of our 2-compartment septic tank, what that translates to is that from the second compartment, we need to build, again, dig a hole that is around, again, from the compartment out to the open earth now. So we're going to dig a channel in the ground that hits the wall of that second compartment, but the depth of that hole should be around 4 feet. And then we should dig a 4-inch pipe hole. By the way, all of the pipes we are digging to connect 2 compartments, there should be around 4-inch holes, diameter holes, and you can fit in like the 4-inch PVC pipes in it. Again, you need to design the pipes in such a way that they will allow free flow of fluid between the 2 compartments, and we can talk about that later. There's a detail of how you actually design it to allow basically the pressure in the pipe to be in such a way that the fluid can flow smoothly. But that's a detail like you should talk to your engineer about, or we can basically sketch the diagram how it looks like. But so you're gonna dig that hole 4 feet. So you dig a channel like a guado. You dig it on that side, on that face of that compartment into the earth. It should be about 10 feet long, stretching into your yard, right? Not in the street or in someone else's yard. Because above that 10 feet pipe, actually, so you're gonna put a PVC pipe and make a hole in the wall of that second compartment, and then you're gonna perforate the walls of that pipe, like around the ribs, right? So if you think about it, if you look at the cross section of the pipe, if it is like a clock, so you have 12 o'clock, you have 6 o'clock, so you want to dig those holes around, say, maybe like the 5 o'clock and around like the 7 o'clock, so they are not directly underneath the pipe is laying on the ground, remember? So it's going to be like on the side, on the rib cages, like not a rib cage, but on the rib of that pipe, right, along it. Like you can build, like you can put some two pairs of holes along there, so that the purpose of these holes is that you basically just use a drill really to make these holes. The purpose of these holes is that as the effluent matter that is in the second compartment, once it rises up to that level, right, when it reaches that level of that pipe and of that hole, that effluent matter, that liquid will start to flow in that pipe. But you don't want that liquid to flow all the way to the end of the pipe, to 10 feet. Actually, you want it to start basically just draining out of the pipe as it rolls down. And the reason why you're not digging the hole under, because then all of the liquid will just be basically draining out in one spot or very close to the septic tank. But you want some of that liquid to reach all the way to the end. So if you think about the pipe being like this shape, this half oval shape, right? We're not talking about the top part, but you want the holes like around the rib here, so that liquid can still flow at the bottom, but when liquid goes up higher, it starts getting out here, and as it goes, basically it drains out the pipe. So some liquid goes as far as possible, but they are draining out slowly, and you don't make big holes. You just use like a drill bit, like normal size drill bit, right, to just make little holes in there. So that's the case. And that area above that 10-foot pipe that you're going to lay, that connects and carry out your effluent matter out into the ground, into the topsoil area, is what we call the drain field, or sometimes people call it the leash field. So that is where the greenest grass in the US now. I was talking about this cluster of homes. When you see some communities where you see there's a little community park where the grass is really green, beneath there is where you have your leash field. So that green grass, the most beautiful and greenest of grass in that community area that people love to go and play and picnic and thing, all of that greenness, the thing that is causing it is your sewage liquid. But it is good for the soil, and that is the menu actually for the soil, for the plants, for the grass and things like that. And in Liberia, if you think about it, if you're growing grass or your vegetables or your little garden, that is the best place to make your garden. So you want to do that. So that is how you want to build your septic tank. If you want, you can make like what I did. I did 3 compartments, in fact. Now you may say, why weren't you overdoing it? No, actually I wasn't overdoing it. Actually, it is necessary to do that in many cases, because maybe you want to filter out a lot of the sludge that could potentially still remain in that effluent matter as you discharge it into the field, into your leach field, right? So building 3 compartments, every time the effluent moves from one compartment to the other, it gets distilled. The distillation basically is the solid waste is falling to the bottom in the previous compartment and goes into the next compartment. It's much clearer. So by the time it gets to the 3rd compartment, you are getting like really a clear liquid that is really good for your soil. I mean, it's not good for consumption, so don't get me wrong. Don't build a well anywhere near that. Leave a good amount of distance, and that also depends on the soil composition, the soil type, to determine like how far away from your septic tank you should dig a well. I'm not going to get into that, but that is the idea of just designing your septic tank. What else could I think about? Yeah, I think that is it. I will stop there. But I did design a septic tank in Johnsonville like that, and the reason why I got into it is because I asked people to dig the septic tank, and they were digging it. And I asked the guy, how are you going to design the septic tank? And he explained to me that it was going to be one hole and just build the walls, the solid concrete walls around it and cover it up. And I said, what about the bottom? What do you do when you dig the hole? What do you do with the floor? And he said, no, we just leave it like that. I was like, you just leave the sewage to sit, the raw sewage to sit on the ground like that. He said, yeah, that's the way the water will drain out. If not, this thing will get filled with water very quickly. I said, but yeah, I get the concern about the vault getting filled up with water, but I don't think this is sound engineering. And as naive as I was, I didn't really know anything about how a septic tank is designed, but I knew right away. And thankfully, I had asked him to tell me like what is he going to build for me. And when he explained to me, it didn't sit well with me, and I told him no. So when I researched it, I actually helped him implement the septic tank. Thankfully, I had gone to Liberia with all of my drilling machines and my equipment and things. So I helped design the pipe. I actually physically drilled the holes into the walls that are separating the compartments, and actually installed the pipes. Perforated the pipes for the leash field and basically installed them myself. So I hope this video helps, and I think you can look at this attached diagram. This is a 2-compartment system, but as I said, having a 3rd compartment is not a bad idea, but at least do a 2-compartment system as is shown in this diagram. You will be helping save our environment in Liberia. You will be helping prevent groundwater pollution and just soil pollution in Liberia. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.